How the heck are you, internet? Or netizens? As one of you likes to keep harassing me, doesn't like being called the internets. I'm gonna keep calling you the internets, you know why? Because that's what I started doing. What is this backdrop? What is this backdrop? Well, first of all, we gotta thank Cody. We gotta thank Cody, actually. I got a little ahead of myself. We gotta thank Jonathan Clark. He sent me this with the Pozniak to review, and it's just this nice little padded hank. So we asked for a little feedback on it, and I'll give him a little bit of feedback. I think these are made by him, and he might be, I don't know, either looking to sell them or send them out. So they're nice. It's a nice padded. I've only got one other one of these, also received as a gift with the gentleman I bought the torque bar from Blue Label Hanks. And these are pretty nice. I think if I were to be really critical, some of the stitching along the sides isn't 100% straight and even, but that's a pretty minor thing. So yeah, it's nice. I don't know what it's padded with. I'm not trying to use these, but I think a lot of people use them maybe to wrap things in their pockets. That's not really my style. I don't like a lot of bulk in my pockets, but it makes a nice backdrop here. And I kind of like this side more, although the stars are nice. So it feels a little too America for me. America. Not that I have anything against America, but at the same time, I don't know, it just feels weird doing stars and stripes. Not really my thing. But let's take a look at the spinner. Wait a minute, this isn't a spinner. No, this is also something from Cody. So this is from Cody. Also, this is the same Jonathan that runs the fidget spot. So I would be remiss to not tell you to go over and get to the fidget spot. But you should be doing that anyway. So this is a little spinner stand thing. So you put your phone in it. Let's pretend this is my phone. You stand it up. You've seen it in my other reviews. But look at what he's done here. So he's taken the little spinner holes, and he's filled them with, a little copper plate, a little brass plate, and I'm trying to rub them just a little to get them to patina even. And I believe this is stainless steel. It might be aluminum. It's got the same look and essentially feel, because you're not really going to feel the weight of this. So whether that's stainless steel or whatever, it doesn't matter. And then little leather pads in there to put your spinners on. So it's pretty neat, pretty cool. This is a Wedgwood. I believe he's going to be selling these, or maybe looking to sell them a little bit here and there. So he's got my number 6, got this little cactus logo of theirs, stamped my my name on the side of it. I kind of like how it's done kind of haphazardly. I think it's just kind of a neat look, kind of up and down stamping. I think I wouldn't want to see this like too straight and even with the type of stamping. If you're doing like laser burning in or something like that, then maybe you would, but I kind of like that it's just kind of stamped in there. So I believe it's 6sgear.com. I don't know if that's up and running. I haven't even checked, I'll be honest. Sorry, Cody. Just got this yesterday, but I wanted to bring it around and do reviews on it. So I guess I'll put a spot at the beginning of the video. You have already seen this, to skip ahead to just about the 5-minute mark if you want to see the spinner. So what spinner do we have today? True Spin. Got a little story to tell about this guy. So nice little tins. Again, I really like their pouches. They've got these little coin pouch looking things, which are pretty nice. We don't worry about that. We just cut that off. There we go, and it's cut. And what do we got in here? Da-da-da-da! Ooh, look at that. So this is the Velocity by True Spin. Now they make a number of different versions. Basically they make True Spin Velocities and True Spin Eternities. The Eternity is sort of like the Tri-Arm Y spinner, which I'll be reviewing one tomorrow. And they make them in mini and full size. The minis, I believe, go for $45 to $50 depending on the material, and I think you can get them blasted or with a polish, sort of stone wash finish. This is the polishy, stone washy type finish. Excuse me. That was just, I had to clear my throat. That cough has gone, by the way. I think some people were concerned, so. But yeah, so they make it in a bunch of different versions and a bunch of different sizes. 45 for the smaller ones, which come with a bearing removal tool, which I don't have with me, but it's my favorite bearing removal tool that I've used, especially at that price point. You can buy them separately for about 18 bucks. So all of a sudden the value of the spinner starts going up and up. So we got US made, US machined, spinners with basically essentially an $18 bearing tool that comes with all their spinners. And we're just kind of looking at the finish here. Now I have been carrying this a little bit. I don't think it's been really dropped or dinged too much, so I think you're getting a pretty good look. It might have a slight bit of patina, which this is in one of the eligible for one of the giveaways I'm doing over on Facebook from time to time. So this one is still up for grabs, so I might flitz it if the patina gets real bad. But I wanted to use it to review, and I hadn't reviewed a little one, so They're full-size spinners. I think go between 70 to 90 depending on what version you're looking at, but I think they're all on sale right now, so I think you're looking at some good prices even on the full-size ones. So when I saw this on the website, I didn't really appreciate how small it is. So with the Eternity, those Ys, the difference between the large and the small isn't that big of a difference. It's a little bit, and we'll look at that when we look at tomorrow's. But look at the full size compared to the mini. Now it's a pretty significant difference. It may not even look like it there. I guess it probably does. But this feels much like something like a Cognito Junior that I was playing around with, or like a, even though it's not the same shape, like the Zen-Tri Nano or the Stealth Aventador. This definitely fits like that mini category. So when I was playing with those Velocities, the Eternities, those don't really feel like minis the same way this feels like a mini. So if you like little mini spinners, you got to get yourself one of these. We're getting that out of the way early. Like, I really enjoy this guy for a mini. So let's pop under the hood because there's a little bit of a story there. Oh, what is in there? That's right, baby. They're using Heck SBV2s in there. We know we like those bearings. Yeah, you can see a little bit under the buttons where it's a little shinier, where it's got a little patina on the outside. Airplane! So when I did the last video, you saw me using the little bearing removal tool to switch out. Now in this one, when they were shipping them originally, they had a stainless steel and a hybrid. The hybrid I really liked in this guy, but in the Velocity, in the Eternity, I don't know why I get those terms mixed up. Velocity has an O in it, and this looks like an O, and Eternity, I don't know why not. So anyway, Velocity O is what helps me remind me that this is the Velocity. Also, I did do a shipwreck patina on this, and then I retumbled it, so you really just have the shipwreck in kind of the corner, so it's kind of subtle. I did kind of shipwreck everything, and I just wasn't quite happy with how it came out, but I like how it's kind of pitted it a little bit here and there, because the patina was pretty deep in some spots. You've seen that similar things on my stubby and on my, on my stubby. Anyway, what was I saying? So anyway, yeah, so you see how I like to tangent and rant. Ooh, the sun's coming out. Maybe we'll get a little warp here. The Eternity, the Y, I didn't really like either of the bearings that came with it all that well in it. I mean, they weren't terrible by any means, but since it had that bearing removal tool, and these are press fit, not glued, it was really easy to swap out. So 57.4, real good fidgetable weight, right, for as small as it is, because it's all solid brass, versus 65, right? So you're only looking at, like, not even a 10-gram difference because of how much is cut out here. So you really get a nice hefty feel, solid feel, yet spins and fidgets like a mini spinner. So pretty quiet too with that SBV2, but we know that that's the case. Anyway, I'm still halfway through my SBV2 story. So I switched that Eternity to the SBV2 because that's the one I felt I liked the most in there and got the best feeling from. It wasn't completely dead smooth. I mean, I don't need to tell you guys. You guys know what's up with those Heck Super bearings. And the gentleman that I got these from saw that review, and he's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'll have to check out those bearings. So I think he just bought a bunch, didn't even like reach out to Heck in terms of like trying to do like a, hey, let's partner up and let's do something, or can you get me a better price? I think he just bought a ton of them and threw them in there because I reached out to Heck and said, hey, it looks like they're using your bearings. He's like, oh, I didn't even know that. So if you're watching this, yeah, shoot Heck an email and let him know you're using his bearings. I'm sure he'll probably look for ways to hook you up or do other things with you maybe. So he likes to help out the community, and a lot of people are using his spinners, so it's a nice plug, it's a nice plus for everybody. So anyway, so these are coming with that bearing now. So I don't know if that's true across the board for all of them, or he sent me a couple just to review and check out with a minute. I can't say that, but the ones that I got did come with that bearing in there. So, but in any event, even if they don't come with those Heck bearings, one, you should have some of those on hand at all times anyway. You should always have at least a 5-pack of SBV 1s and 2s, and then you just throw one in there if you prefer it. So spin time wise, pretty good spin time. Now this one, especially with a hybrid ceramic bearing that was in there, was quite the spin time monster. It was getting somewhere, I think, like, I'd have to go back and look at the video, but like over 9 minutes on vertical spin, and I think like 7 minutes on a table spin. It was really up there. This guy, just being that there's no cutouts and it's much smaller, and it's using a stainless steel bearing, which is going to have less spin time, we're getting 3 minutes on a table spin and about 3.5 on a vertical, which isn't really realistically that bad for a micro spinner, and you don't get a micro spinner for spin time anyway. So anything over 1 or 2 minutes for the amount of time you're actually going to be letting it spin really doesn't matter. So spin time wise, feels good, feels smooth, feels fast. These ridges do, if the sun went away a little bit, really do some interesting things. So I think the review I did on this guy I did inside, but because you've got this ring out here reflecting light, and then you've got this ring reflecting light, and then you've got this ring reflecting light, you get this really cool effect where it looks like it steps up 3 times. But it doesn't, it just steps up once, obviously. But because of that reflection, you really, in person, get this like little triple step look, like 3 concentric circles that looks really neat. Plus you've got this little groove on the inside. Buttons are nice, they're not too big, they're probably around 17, 18 millimeter buttons. Probably 18, maybe even 19, but the space inside where you've got this little dish isn't quite as big, so they feel like smaller buttons, but they give plenty of grip. Because it's a cog style spinner, you really can spin it any way, and because it's flat with raised buttons, you don't have arm weights lifted up, you have plenty of finger clearance. Like your fingers really aren't going to run into this. So like this is pretty great for that mindless fidgeting where you don't need to think about the spinner, make sure you're grabbing it the right way. And everything's really well rounded and polished and finished and looks nice and wonderful. So not a hot spot to be found on it. Because of this little raised area, with cog spinners and especially mini spinners, preloaded flicks can be kind of difficult, but it's actually surprisingly easy with this, because my finger has something to bite into, right? Like this cutout right there, this little sort of reverse fillet. And I guess it's pronounced fillet, not fillet, from what I've been told. I don't know if you would call that a reverse fillet, what you would call it, but it's sort of like a concave cutout as opposed to just like a chamfer or a bull nose or rounded the other way. So sort of like a reverse of this curve here. So so you can really get good preloaded flicks on it. You know, doing the 1/3P. I feel like my camera's a lot closer than it normally is today. I feel like I'm really jammed up in there. Let's look at the review of this spinner, guys. Here, we'll spin this, check out all the features that it has. So the spinner's looking a lot bigger than I think it really is. Like, look at, yeah, there's my hand. Look, it's a little guy. Like, it's like the width of 2 of my fingers. So if you like mini spinners, I know a lot of you guys out there do. You got to check these guys out. If for nothing else, essentially you take $18 off the cost of this for the bearing removal tool, which is the best one that I've personally used. The Flyaway Toys one is cheaper, but I find this one is easier to use. I actually did get a Oz tool that I've been meaning to try out and haven't yet, so I haven't used that one, but I think those are pretty cheap. I'll have to, Jonathan, tip me up and let me know a little bit more info. I'll try to remember to ask you, but let me know a little bit more about that Oz tool. He sent me a bearing removal tool and I just haven't used it yet. Apologies. Got a lot to do, I'm a busy man. But yeah, either of these are great. So I've been trying to say downsides, and I can't really think of anything obvious, so that should give you an idea of how I feel about this guy. There really just isn't anything glaring. I think the only downside is, for me, I'm not a huge mini spinner guy, so for me, this is definitely one of the ones I'm going to give away, and I'm keeping this bad boy here. But so then it comes down to, can Hobby Timmy recommend it for you, and we can give it the 2, get my thumbs in there, 2 thumbs up, 2 awkward thumbs. Where is it? There we go. 2 awkward thumbs up, y'all. Notice how the right thumb bends up further than the left. I know you guys like my awkward thumbs. Can definitely recommend it. And again, I think if nothing else, what I was starting to say is you need to have one for that bearing removal tool. If it were me, I do prefer the Eternity. I think the Mini Eternity at the price is better, especially for me, than this guy, only because I prefer that slightly larger feeling that tri-form gives you. So we'll see those tomorrow. We'll see the full size in stainless steel and the Mini in copper, see? So 13:45, we've got a long video on our hands here. We did a little rambling in the beginning, but kind of had a lot to say, a little story time, and I'm pretty happy with these guys. So definitely go and pick yourselves up. Again, this is True Spin. I'll have the links in the comments and stuff below, so go and check them out. I don't think there's a spot to tell them, but if you can, tell them Hobby Timmy sent you. I know last time part of the reason he wanted to do and I don't think actually I said this, I apologize. I've been doing the giveaway because he sent me 2 spinners specifically to give away, because last time I gave one away and he was really happy with the response he got after my video. So when, you know, we do videos like this, us reviewers, and you guys out in the community like it and buy those spinners and stuff, it looks good for me, it looks good for them, looks good for you. So if it is something you're interested in, You know, it helps move everything along. So again, he was really happy. He sent me 2 spinners just to give away, not even to review, and then 2 new ones to review. So last time I got this full and the other mini. Now I've got this mini and the other one full, plus 2 other minis of the Eternity to give away. So he sent me 4 spinners, you know, so good people over there. So I like what they do. It's all US made, right? Good deals. So I'm starting to find some bargains out there in US made. So anyway, kisses, internet, we've been rambling. So catch you next time.